Hi, this is Ann from Duct Tape and Denim. This week's video is going to show you 5 different ways that you can use these transfers, Essential Stencils, Pumpkin and Sunflower. We're just going to use the sunflowers this week and we'll save the pumpkins for fall. For this box, I'm using up some shabby paints that I have. It's so serene. It's kind of a turquoise blue. We'll see how this goes. Here's the box after one coat of the shabby paint. I did not paint the wicker bottom, or the bottom at all, even the bottom of the board. So I'm thinking about coming back over it with some dry brush white paint instead of another coat. I'm using a chip brush for this. That's what I like to use for dry brushing because it's not even on the ends and I still get, you know, a lot of it off, so it's just barely, barely there, sorry. And then just, lightly touch. I kind of pull over the edges first to get off the majority, and then I'll just go back and forth over the whole thing, like that. There it is. What do you think? And because I want this to have a really smooth finish, I'm just going to go over really lightly with some 220. Okay, I am going to be using the Essential Stencil Pumpkins and Sunflowers. I'm going to use the sunflowers because I think they look summery and I'm not ready for fall quite yet. So I'm going to cut a piece out. This one flower is, or flower group is what I'm going to use over here, and then I'm going to piece some together on this side. So let's see how it works. Take the white part off the back first and then figure out how I want it. I want it to go over the edge just a little bit. Right there. That's good. Press it down, and then I'm going to use my little tool to start rubbing it. Here's a little hint I've seen from some other crafters is take your 220 again and just lightly sand the edges, and that'll make it blend in even more, like it's been there for a long time. I can't even tell right now. I can't even see the edges right now, but we'll see how it all finishes out. And I'll do where it overlapped, I'll press much harder on the sandpaper there, and just that cuts the edges off. Anything that's gone over the edge, I'll press a little harder, and see, it just came off on my sandpaper. On this other side, I'm going to make my own grouping for this side and use the 3. So I'm envisioning this in the back, and then this sticking out that way, and then the big sunflower down at the bottom. So I need to think backwards and think whatever's going to be in the back is what I'm going to start with. So I'm going to start with this. That they recommend that you put a top coat over this to protect it and keep it from peeling off. I am mixing my brands and products today, so I'm going to use Minwax Polycrylic on this. Box number 2, just a square box that a friend of mine gave me. It's not old, made in China. I don't know, probably, maybe that was for a desk set or something. I'm just gonna sand it and put a transfer on it. While I have my transfers out, I'm gonna see if I can put one on this book. I like the cover, it's just plain on this side, so let's try it. Sorry about that. I just realized I missed part of the removal of the plastic layer because of my camera angle, but I am liking how that turned out. I am not sure if I want to put the poly on that or not. We'll see. This is a test. Okay, here's the next thing that I'm gonna try the Essential Stencil transfers on is a old sifter, aluminum. I cleaned it really good with a Lysol disinfecting wipe first because I don't have running water in my she shed, so and it wasn't very dirty, so I just wiped it off as good as I could. It's got some rust spots on it, so I'm gonna try to arrange some of the transfer in here and see how it turns out. Got these 3 pieces here. I'm just gonna try to arrange and see what order to put them in, and I think that's the order I'm gonna do. So that'll be the first one, that'll be the back, middle, front, and I may or may not use the little stems. We'll see. This one's turning out to be a lot more difficult because I can't lay it down because of the handle, so I'm having to hold it, and I may not be able to keep it in the frame, so I'm going to do as much as I can here, and then I'll have to stop, and I'm holding it up against me. It's coming off, so all right, let's keep going and see how it works. That one was so hard that I'm thinking about stopping right there with just those 2 flowers. I was contemplating putting the leaves down at the bottom, but I don't know, maybe I still will. We'll see, but yeah, definitely the hardest one I've done so far. Okay, I really like how the leaves turned out. I'm glad I added them. Now I just have these 3 left on my off of my sunflower sheet. I still have all of the pumpkins left, so I'm going to do some fall projects with those, saving those for later. So here's my next idea. I want to do a frame, and I'll probably paint this frame too. It's kind of dirty. And I want the background to be music. Look what I found. I bought a stack of music for $8 at an antique mall in Rogers, Arkansas when we went to Bentonville. And this was in it. I didn't even know. I just now opened it and found this. So I thought, well, that'd be cool, but I don't have enough to really fill in. Plus, this is kind of, I don't know. This may be a different project. This may be a different sunflower project. So I found this one that's just smaller. It does have words. It doesn't talk about any flowers or anything, but I thought it would be a good background, and then I will do the flowers and leaves on top of that. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to take the frame out to see what size I need to cut this paper to. Oh man, that is filthy. That definitely is going to have to be cleaned and painted. So let's just, yeah, this is already falling apart. So sometimes I hate pulling stuff apart that is not already falling apart, but this has a little damage to it. And so let's see, any good words, or I'll just do it right there in the center. I want lots of notes and lots of stuff going on. So just draw around that, and I'll cut it a little bit inside. Okay, I'm gonna paint the frame with my shabby paint in, I think it's So Serene. Yep, So Serene. And I'm gonna use my very well-worn zebra brush. Here's a little hint for you too. These chalk and mineral paints have a lot of pigment and other stuff in it, and you really gotta stir it up. You can't really just shake the bottle or the jar. You've just gotta dig in there with like a full-size paint stir stick and get all that stuff off the bottom and mixed up good. Okay, this is why I really like this brush, because when you have a lot of detail like that, the angles and the corners on this brush really get down in there really good. See? It gets in there really good. So if I have a lot of flat surface, I wouldn't use this brush, but if I have little details and little corners that I need to get in, I use this brush. And I'll put links to the paint and the brushes and all the other supplies that I use down in the description box too, so you can find them.